Hey guys. Okay. I had to close my camera and then reopen it because it was being really glitchy. Okay. So, we're on beans. Beans are warm weather vegetables. Plant seeds directly into the soil when the danger of frost is past and the soil is warm. They will grow in any soil except very wet ones and don't require much fertilizer. Beans can be divided into three types. Green and yellow snap beans. These come in bush and pole varieties. Harvest them when pods are young and tender. Also, the purple beans and the dragon tongue beans fall underneath that category as well. Plus, there's the purple, any of the purple varieties and the dragon tongue. And I know I'm missing one and I can't think of it. Shell beans. Lima beans, southern peas, and horticultural beans are the best examples. To harvest, open the pods or shells and collect the beans. Dry beans. These beans come from plants that have completed their growth and have produced hard, dry seeds inside the pods. When mature, they are packed with protein. To harvest, separate the beans from their hulls and store. Growing dry beans for storage. Dry beans are very high in protein, making it well worth devoting space in the garden to them. There are also hundreds of bean types to try, from Jacob's Cattle to Kentucky Wonder. There's also the 15-year-old cave beans from Baker's Creek. That is a dry bean. The Indian Hadassah red bean is a dry bean. And then your obvious ones, your black beans, your kidney beans, your pinto beans, your navy beans, your northern beans. Those are obvious ones. Black-eyed peas also fall into that category. Alright, plant an average of 10 to 20 plants per person when planting in the spring. Alright, so 10 to 20 plants per person. That would be, we're going to figure high at 20. I don't know how much Andrew's actually going to grow. He doesn't really like beans that much. Chloe can't really eat them, so we'll probably only go with about 40 plants for our family. I will be planting more to be able to have the extra to help other people out with. So, because that's the mission that Faith First has been called to. So, it's just taking us a minute to get there. To cover his own ass, but you already knew that. Okay. What are you talking about? We subpoenaed your CI contact, of course. Keep in mind that cold, wet weather fosters disease and that most dried beans, whether bush or semi-vining, require a long growing season, as long as 100 days. So that's something I actually had forgotten about. So I'm going to underline that so I can remember that. To direct sow beans, layer grass mulch 4 to 6 inches deep on the bed in the fall. This will decompose to about 2 inches by spring. No, we're going to be planting our beds this spring, so we'll just get what we can get. I might actually do a planting of dry beans in pots. So they're already growing by the time we get those beds built. Because we haven't been able to get out there yet, so. Okay. This will okay. It will keep the soil warm. What did you guys do? Will keep the soil warm up to 6 inches deep and won't pull nitrogen out of the soil, enabling you to plant earlier in the spring. Plant beans 1 inch deep and allow 2 to 6 inches between the plants and 12 to 30 inches between rows. That doesn't account for square foot gardening, and square foot gardening does work very well, as you guys saw on my garden tour of 2020. And those of you who are new subscribers, go back through the videos, and there is a video, it's from about 3 years ago. It's garden tour of 2020, and in that video I'm showing a garden that I did up in Michigan. It was my first attempt with square foot gardening, and it worked so well. That garden it exploded. It just everything grew so well in that garden. Okay. Some gardeners recommend soaking seeds before planting, but research indicates that pre-soaked seeds absorb water too quickly, causing the outer coats to split out essential nutrients, which encourages damping off seed rot. Yields can increase by 50 to 100% if you inoculate with Rhizobium bacteria. Simply roll seeds in the powder. Now I think I'm gonna ask Andrew about that. He seems to have quite the knowledge about this kind of stuff, and I haven't had a chance to really get into all of this, which I think I'm gonna go ahead and also start doing my homestead gardening section. I mean, I'm gonna have to just start getting these videos out there, like, constantly. Because beans are nitrogen fixers, and inoculating them enhances this characteristic. They require little fertilizer throughout the growing season. I'm also thinking, too, that if you're using your own homemade compost, you won't need to do that. I've never had to do that with beans. I mean, beans have always grown really well for me, so. Even watering is important, as is trellising or other support for climbing varieties, and that is very true. One of my favorites in the climbing varieties, though, is the Chinese long red noodle beans. Harvest. Many beans can be harvested young and eaten green, or left to mature and harvested as dry beans. For the latter, wait until a plant's leaves have fallen in autumn to pick dry pods or to pull the entire plant. Harvest before the first frost, because the frost will destroy them. Soybeans and limas, however, should be picked when any split pods are spotted, because beans often drop from the shells as they dry. Cure them for several weeks in a well-ventilated area, piling them on screens or slatted shelves. Beans are dry and ready to thresh when they don't dent when bitten. Following are 4 methods of threshing. 1. Thrash the plants back and forth inside a clean trash can. 2. Place the plants in a large burlap bag and flail. 3. Put plants in a cone-shaped bag, tie the bottom, and walk or jump on the bag. 4. Put the beans into a bag with a hole in the bottom, tie the bottom closed, hang the bag from a tree, and beat well, then place in a container. Then place a container below and untie the hole. With the help of a good wind, the chaff will blow away and the beans will fall into the container. Storage. Remove all bad beans, those with holes or insect damage. Place beans on shallow trays and heat at 170 to 180 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. Cool thoroughly and store fully dried beans in airtight containers in a cool, dry place. Now, see, I didn't know that. That's something I actually did not know. I actually really haven't grown many dry beans. My mom used to grow the kidney beans, but she would freeze them. So she never stored them in jars or anything like that. Alright, so that was all for beans. The next vegetable is beets, and in between, the next video is going to be on preserving, so I will be back in a few minutes with that video, and I will see you guys in a minute. Bye, guys. Remember to leave a comment If you have any suggestions on the vegetable we're talking about, if you have experience growing it and you have any suggestions, leave a comment and let us know because we can use all the help we can get. Thanks, guys. See you in a minute. Bye.